In this video, we're going to start a new free worksheet from KutaSoftware. This one's under Infinite Algebra 1. It's called Finding Slope from a Graph. Our directions are to find the slope of each line. Now, when looking at a graph, you can think of slope as the rise over run. And what that is the change in y over the change in x. The rise represents the change in y, which is the change in the vertical direction. Run is the change in x, or the change in the horizontal direction. So for number 1, starting at the point towards the left, looks like it's at 0, 0. Our rise is a positive 1 since we need to go up 1 to get on the same line as our next point. If we were to go down 1, that would be a negative 1, but since we're moving in the positive direction on the y-axis, it's a positive 1. So rise equals 1, and that's going to be over the run. And in this case, we need to move over 2 in the positive direction to get to the next point on the line. So if we're moving over 2 in the positive direction, that's a positive 2. So our slope is 1/2. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, let's calculate the rise. To go from this leftmost point, we need to go down 2. So that's going to be rise is a negative 2. And then we're going to do that over the run. And the run is a positive 2. We're moving 2 to the right, so a positive 2. Negative 2 over positive 2 can simplify to be negative 1. So negative 1 is the answer in number 2 for the slope of the line. In number 3, I already know that this is going to be a positive slope. But why is that? A positive slope, like in number 1, as you move to the right, the y values will increase. For a negative slope, as you move to the right, so as x increases, the y's will decrease. So as we're moving to the right, so in the positive x direction for number 3, the y's are increasing. So I know the slope is going to be positive right off the bat. Starting at the leftmost point, our rise, we need to move up 1. And our run, we're going to move over 2. So it's going to be a positive 2. So the slope for number 3 is 1/2. And number 4, as we increase the x value, so as we move to the right, our y value decreases. So we know that this is going to be a negative slope. But let's calculate that. Starting at the leftmost point, we need to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So that's going to be a negative 5 since we're moving in the negative y direction. So our rise is a negative 5 over our run, which is a positive 4. So our answer is negative 5/4 for number 4. Number 5 is a special case because there is no rise. The rise is 0. So we're going to have 0 over 1, which is our run, which is simply 0. When you see a horizontal line, you can know right away that the slope will always be 0, because 0 over any number is simply 0. In number 6, I'm going to switch things up a bit, and we're going to start at this rightmost point, as opposed to the leftmost point, which we have been starting at. So to go from the right point to the left point, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be negative 4 for the rise. And we need to go over 1 to the left, which is negative in the run. So that's a negative 1. Negative 4 over negative 1 is a positive, since a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the slope for number 6 is a positive 4, since negative 4 divided by negative 1 is 4. So regardless of which point you start at, as long as you keep track of your signs, understanding which direction the rise is in and which direction the run is in, which way you're moving on the graph to reach that next point, you will get the correct answer. Number 7, let's go ahead and just start at the leftmost point. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So since we're going down, the rise is a -4. And we're going to go over in the positive direction 2. So that's going to be -4 over a +2, which simplifies to a -2. And lastly, in this video, we'll stop at number 8, and in the next video, we'll finish out the worksheet doing numbers 9 through 16. And number 8, this is a special case. Remember when we had a horizontal line, the slope was 0, but whenever you have a vertical line, the slope is undefined. Now let's understand why that's the case. Our rise is a +2, but our run, since this is a vertical line, we do not change in the x direction at all, so that's going to be 0. And you cannot divide a number by 0. So attempting to divide any number by 0 is undefined. So any vertical line has an undefined slope, whereas any horizontal line has a slope of 0. That wraps up the first part of this worksheet. Go ahead, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. In this video, we're going to continue the finding slope from a graph worksheet, and I'll leave a link in the description below so you know how to get to this free worksheet on KutaSoftware. Our directions for this worksheet are to find the slope of the line. Previously, we've been given 2 points. However, in number 9, it starts us out to pick our own point. Looking at this line, we can see that it intersects whole numbers at this point and at this point down here. Now let's go ahead and calculate the rise over the run, since that is equal to our slope. Starting at the leftmost point, we're going to go up 8 units. And in the horizontal direction, we're going to go over 3 units to the right. Both the upwards and the right direction were positive, so it's a +8 over a +3. So 8/3 is the slope for number 9. And number 10, again, let's pick our points. So following the line, seeing where it crosses on a whole number, I'm going to pick here, and if you wanted to, it crosses another time at a whole number at this point. Let's go ahead and use these first 2 points though, and then we'll go ahead and use the second 2 to show you that regardless of what you pick, you will get the same slope. So going from the leftmost to the right, we're going to go down 3, so our rise is a -3, and we're going to go over 2 to the right, so that's a +2. So our slope is -3/2. Now let's see if we go from this point to the bottom point. Again, we're going down 3, and we're going to go over 2. So that will again be -3/2. Let's say that you use the first point and the last point. Let me pick a different color for that. Let's do purple. So using the first point and the last point, you're going to go down 6, so that's -6, and you're going to go over a +4. This simplifies down into -3/2. So you can see that you can use any set of 2 points to calculate the slope of a line. And number 11, I'm going to choose this point on the right and this point. Let's go ahead and start at the rightmost point this time. Starting at the rightmost point, to get to the leftmost point, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be -4. And we're going to go over 3 to the left. So that's a -3, since we're moving in the negative x direction. A negative over a negative is a positive. So -4 divided by -3 is a +4/3. So number 11 is 4/3. And number 12, I'm going to pick this point, which happens to be the y-intercept, and I'm also going to pick this point. Rise over run, starting at the left, we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a -5. And we're going to go over 1, 2, 3 in the positive x direction, so that's a +3. So for number 12, our slope is -5/3. And number 13, we have a horizontal line, which we know is a slope of 0. If you were to pick any 2 points, let's go ahead and do the first point and the last point. The rise is 0 over a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0 over 8 is simply 0. If we were to pick this point here, we could go over 2, 1, 2, and have 0 over 2 equaling 0. So you can see that regardless of which 2 points you pick, on a horizontal line, the slope is always 0. In number 14, I'm going to pick the y-intercept, and I'm also going to pick the x-intercept since both of them intersect at whole numbers. Rise over run, I'm going to go up 2, so that's a +2, and I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rise over run is 2 over 4, which simplifies to 1/2 for number 14. Number 15, we have a vertical line, and just as we did in the previous video, we know that a vertical line is undefined. That is because regardless of which points I take, we're always going to have a rise number, which could be 2, 3, 4, 1, etc., all over a run of 0, and any number over 0 is undefined. And number 16, I'm going to pick this point at the left and this point on the right. In order to go from the left point to the right point, I'm going to go down 8, so that's a -8, and I'm going to have to go over 5 in the positive direction. So -8/5 is the slope for number 16. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. In the next worksheet we're going to do is finding the slope from 2 points. So we're going to be finding the slope given 2 different coordinates.